All right, so my domestic car fans are going to be a little surprised today. We're here looking at a 1996 Nissan 240SX, all stock. I like my car stock. It had two owners. This guy's the second since 2000. Here it is. Looks pretty decent. So I'm gonna park and take a look at this thing. He's not gonna let me buy it today if I like it because he wants to do a title transfer and the tag offices are closed. But we're gonna take a look at it and see what we think. So I'll let you guys know what happens. So there goes the 240. Good news and bad news. The good news is the car is actually pretty damn nice. It's so hard to find a 240 that's that original and clean. The paint was in good shape, had a little bit of clear coat bake, but it wasn't that bad. You just re-clear it. I mean, even if I had to repaint the roof, whatever, you can leave it as it is. You really don't even notice it. The engine ran beautifully. Beautifully smooth. You could put a fucking quarter on top of the block and stand up. It was that smooth. Transmission shifted good. He told me the transmission has a slight leak. I should have checked the fluid level to be honest, but it shifted fine. Honestly, if I bought this thing in the near future, I'd manual swap it. That's probably the only thing I do to the car because it kind of takes the fun out of having a 240 with an automatic. Engine had a minor valve cover gasket leak, piece of cake. Otherwise, it ran perfectly. Suspension was tight, there was no rattling, steering was tight, no issues with the power steering, the AC was ice cold, colder than the fucking AC in this thing. Interior was alright, it had the typical dash crack, the seats were, the passenger seat was savable, driver's seat was pretty cracked. And it's pretty easy to find 240 seats because everybody strips them out and puts in like Recaros and stuff. The dashboard would be a little more tricky. It's definitely a driver, I mean that thing is get in and go, which would be great for me because I don't want another project that's going to sit in the driveway and it's going to be a big pain in the ass to get it back on the road. I can drive it, I can take my time with it, you know, one week into the valve cover gasket, the next week into the motor mounts, and within a couple of months of, you know, casual, relaxed labor on the car, it'd be 100%. So I'm very interested. What kind of sucks is that, you know, it's all the other fucking asshole scammers on Craigslist ruined it for me. Because I had the cash in the glove box, I would have took this car today. Guy is so paranoid because he sold a car years ago and the guy never transferred the title, ended up getting in an accident, and they were calling him saying, hey, you know, is your car stolen, what up? So he would not do the deal today. Well, he didn't even accept my offer. He didn't say no, he has other people coming to see it, which I'm not surprised because any 240 that clean for asking $2,500 is a good buy. I offered $2,000, and when I told the guy to make him feel all warm inside, it's like, look, when I looked at the pictures, I didn't see the cracked dash, didn't see the faded paint in the roof, didn't know about the oil leak, the transmission leak. I go, if all that stuff wasn't a problem, I go, I give you the $2,500 for it, no problem. It's a $2,000's my offer, that's cash, no bullshit, no more test drives, no funny shit, I'll meet you at the tag office, we get it done. And he seemed interested, but he wanted to show it to, I even offered him a deposit, you know, take my deposit today, and you know, when you're ready, we'll go to the tag office. He didn't want to do that. He wants to show it to their people, but he didn't seem disgusted with my offer, so I'm happy about that. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. I told the guy, just because you know, usually I know when people are bullshit and they're like, oh, I got other people coming to see the car, and you know it's fucking bullshit when you're selling like a Grand Marquis. Like, no one's coming to see your fucking piece of shit. But a 96 240 in that shape, I believe the guy that more people are coming. He's very busy with work, he hasn't been able to show it, so he says he's gonna show it on Sunday. So I told the guy, look, $2,000's my number. If someone comes and sees it Sunday and offers you a little bit more, let me know because I might be able to come up. I don't want to lose this car. I've been looking at 240s for months, and I know this is a hard to find real clean example. And I love the ownership history. Two-owner car. He bought it at a dealership in 2000. And the only reason he's selling this is because he's got kids now and they don't fit. So, which now you were in the back seat. How was it back there?
It's pretty tight.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I like the little like kind of scoop thing.
What do you mean?
Seat.
Oh, the way the seat was?
Yeah.
It's got a ton of potential. So, and you didn't like the color at first, but now you do.
I know, because I thought it was like a yellow, a pea yellow that I called it. But
Yeah.
it's kind of greenish.
I love that color.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, she's sick. That's why she sounds like a chain smoker. But so I don't know. Like I'm a little nervous. I want this car, but you know you can't let your emotions get in the way. You can't come out swinging with that full price offer. I mean, I'm gonna sleep on it. The guy told me the car's not going anywhere till Sunday. He's not even able to show it till Sunday. So, you know, I might if I think about it over the next couple of days, I really want the car. I really think it's worth it. They'll come up to the 2,500, 23, try them at 2,300, just to lock in the deal. And that way I don't have to worry about it. But I'm trying to keep this low, but because that 500 bucks I save, I can put back into the car and make it much closer to perfect. And that's the goal. I don't really have the money to be. If I buy it at 25, it's gonna have to stay the way it is for a little while, which I don't like that with the oil leak and the transmission leak. So that's the scoop. We'll see what happens. I'm a little disappointed. I really wanted to try to lock this deal up today. We drove a pretty far away to see the car, but it was worth it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted. All right, guys. So I made it happen. Here is the S14 you looked at earlier in the video. I'm sure you remember how that went because you just watched it. Basically, we went and looked at the car, and I liked it overall. I think I talked about a couple negatives with it, but it was an issue solely of budget. All I had at the time was 2,100 bucks. He was asking 25. I offered him 2, and that was on Wednesday, the clips you just watched. Today's Friday, and I spent a lot of time yesterday looking for, I've been in the market now probably for about a month for something rear-wheel drive, Japanese, kind of the missing link in my collection. You know, I've got the Volkswagen, the buggy, I've got plenty of domestic stuff, and now that I'm so involved in the Japanese car community with Miami Rice and everything else, I wanted something, you know, to fit into that scene, to enjoy that scene, everybody, and not be the guy driving around a Mustang and everybody else is driving, you know, 90s JDM stuff. S14, I'll tell you what, I've always had a little crush on the S14. I prefer it over the S13, you know, style-wise. I realized that this was probably the best buy out there, and I was never going to find their S14 this clean for that short of money. And so I reached out to the seller this morning and said, look, I'll meet you in the middle at $2,250. That's all I've got, and that's truthful. That's all I've got. It's the best I can do. I can't come up a dime more, and I will meet you as soon as you're available, and we'll get this thing done. I've already test driven the car. No more nonsense. We meet up, we swap papers for cash, and that's it. I said to him, and I know you don't want this car to go to some kid that's going to destroy it and make it into a drift missile, and it's going to be trash, because you've kept this car since 2000, and you've babied it. And I know that's not what you want for it, and you know that's what's going to happen if I don't buy this car. So let me know. And he got back to me and said, LOL, he's laughing about the whole drift missile comment. He goes, let me think about it, I'll get back to you. And about an hour later, I got a text from him saying, you can meet me right now? And I go, yeah. He goes, okay, we'll do the $2,250. So normally, as a big-time Craigslist buyer and seller, I never get that. You know, start showing that much interest in a car. You want to act like you want nothing to do with it. But I knew there was no playing around with this thing at that price point. I had to get it. And I figured the whole meeting in the middle situation would make him feel pretty good. It's not like I knew if I came in at 2,200, he was gonna still think it's too low. But the whole meeting in the middle thing, I figured would work, and it did. So anyway, we met up, swapped papers for cash, and I've got the car. I gotta tell you, it's much better than I expected. I drove this car home 40 minutes. It's 100 degrees today here in Miami and humid. I'm sweating my balls off right now as I do this video. Very hot. I had the AC on full blast, going down the highway 80 miles an hour. This car is perfect. It's perfect. And that's because it's kept stock and it wasn't abused. It runs great, drives great, suspension's tight, no rattling, no clunking, nothing. The only thing that I've noticed with the car is it definitely needs motor mounts. They're not that bad, but when you're sitting at idle, you know, you can feel the engine's vibration. But the engine runs very smooth, and once you're on the throttle, it smooths out. The other things I mentioned in the video I did earlier on Wednesday is that the engine is leaking a little bit of oil. It really isn't as bad as I thought. Oh, by the way, it's got an aftermarket alarm system, which is great because these things are, everybody tries to steal. And maybe you guys noticed, I think I might have mentioned, again, I wish I watched my clip from Wednesday so I'm not repeating myself, but I don't know why it does that. See, I love aftermarket alarms, but I don't at the same time because they're always fucking doing weird shit. I think it just locked itself. But this has a 94 intake manifold. He was telling me that when the intake manifold had to be replaced a few years ago, I guess they couldn't find a 96 one, so they put a 94 one on. Again, the car runs cool. The temp gauge never goes into hot, it's just kind of wonky. And then the check engine light, I mean, it's on solid. It's not like it's flashing, so even if it's not related to this, I can't imagine it's anything major. The car runs beautifully. The other thing I mentioned to you guys is that the transmission has a leak, but I checked it today before buying the car. It's just seeping around the pan. Like typical, I'd say probably half my cars over here have a little bit of wetness around the gasket. And I checked the fluid level, hot and cold, it's perfect. And it's pink too, so, and the transmission shifts flawlessly. I really got on it today a couple times just to make sure, and I mean, it never skipped a beat. So transmission's fine, although I do, well, I'll get to that in a minute. Any other issues with the car? Let me think. I guess that's it, just like the dashboard and the seats, which the driver's seat's the one that's kind of torn up, but overall, and the clear coat's a little baked on the roof. It's not that bad. I might be able to just re-clear it. I don't know. I mean, if I got to repaint some parts of the car eventually, whatever. It's still very presentable. It needs some touch up right there, but otherwise it's a very straight body. The rest of the car is no paint fade. It's in very, very nice shape. I have never seen an S14 in this shape for this short of money. No way. So, very happy with the purchase. Plans for future mods. I want to manual swap it eventually. I'm in no rush to do so, but that's what really waked this car up. It needs a manual, it needs the 5-speed. These cars are meant to be driven that way. The automatic is a shame, but it's working very well. It can be driven with it for the time being. And I'm very impressed with this car. It's actually pretty peppy. It corners for stock suspension. It corners very well. It's an awesome little car. So I'm very happy with it. Manual swap eventually. Maybe a couple bolt-ons, but for now it's going to stay the way it is. I don't have the money to do anything to it right now. I'm going to get this Grand Marquis out of here. Obviously expect a lot more videos on this. The great thing is that I've got my friends over at Miami Rice, and they know their way around these things, so I'll have no problem finding help, whatever this car throws at me, to keep it running perfectly. But for now, I just want to clean it up, take care of those few minor leaks, and take it to some meets and enjoy it. I think I've shown you the interior yet. Sorry guys, yep. There's an alarm system. What was I saying? Yeah, so you might like these or might not. These little stick-on bezels here for the interior. I don't mind them, to be honest. They kind of grew on me. Look at, I even have the 240SX floor mats. The interior, with the exception of the dashboard, is in pretty damn good shape. This is a nice custom feature. This steering wheel's got to go. That's one thing I'll definitely change. Probably put in some type of a grip royal or something like that. I don't really give a shit about keeping the steering wheel stock, and that's got to go anyway. So we'll take that out, and eventually that automatic. But the seats, I mean, that you can see this one's pretty fucked. I'd like to find some leather seats to match. Now, could I put some racing seats in here? Yeah, I guess I could. Maybe I should, but we'll see. I'm open to commentary on this as to what I should do with the interior. But the back seat is in perfect shape, so it'd almost be kind of cool to match it up. This one's got a very minor tear. I might be able to fix that. But you can see the dash, the interior is very clean otherwise, in great shape. He's gonna mail me the radio faceplate. He couldn't find it this morning, but he's got it, because when I test drove the car, it had it. And the sunroof works. Both windows go down. There's the cluster. 190,000 miles. So, not the lowest mileage example out there, but the maintenance has kept it in the shape that it's in. So it doesn't scare me too much. Go ahead and start it up for you guys. Got that ice cold AC. Shut it off for now. So there's that check engine light that's on for whatever it may be. This is what, a 96, so it's OBD2. Haven't ran the code yet. Again, I didn't worry about that kind of shit too much because a shell of this thing sells for the kind of money that I paid for the whole car running and driving, so I wasn't too worried about it. You can hear it runs very well. Runs very, very, very well. So, yeah, that's really it. I know a lot of my old, hardcore fans for the past decade who are more in the domestic stuff might not really give a shit about this, and that's fine. Don't worry, I'm obviously going to keep the content coming with the domestic stuff. But for those of you who kind of swing both ways like I do, not in a sexual way, but in a car way, I think you'll enjoy this, watching this car come together. It's not going to take much. I think a buff and wax in itself is going to make this car look unbelievable. got interesting exhaust on it. I don't know if this is. I don't think this is stock. Let me see. No, it is. It's just the tips. But I gotta get an emblem. Nissan emblem. I think it's the same emblem off a Century, even at the same time period. So we'll have a problem finding one of those. But I'm very excited about this buy, and I hope you guys are too. So thanks for watching, and I know Miami Rice is gonna do a video on it as well. It's probably better than my video because I'm much better with the camera and being on camera when someone else is filming it. I'm a very bad multitasker. Like everybody my age, I probably got ADHD and everything else, and it's tough for me to keep my thought, kind of where I'm going with the video, straight as I'm filming. But when Mike's filming me, it's just fluid, it's easy, I don't have to worry about the camera angle, because half the time I'm filming a car talking about it, I'm just like this the whole time, at one shitty angle. So Mike wants to come by and film it later. I'll link it in this video. Feel free to go check it out. And obviously I want to support them too. Mike's got some incredible editing skills. His videos are great. His ideas are great. And that channel needs some love. You know, it's got, what, 75 subscribers? And he's got some great content. So we'd love to see his channel grow. Obviously my own too. But go check out the video. I think you'll get a better idea of the car and some better quality shots of it. But otherwise, keep an eye out for my next video on this thing. Thanks for watching.
I lost your